Now, concerns have been raised about South Africa's showing at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Some have argued that the country's delegation may have failed to present a clear and coherent message. To give us some perspective, we're joined by Neville Matjie, who's the Chief Executive Officer at Brand SA. A very good afternoon to you, Neville. Thank you so much for your time. With over 3,000 global leaders having attended the World Economic Forum in Davos, there's a sense, at least from some quarters, that Team South Africa may have missed an opportunity to reposition the country as an attractive investment and diplomatic partner. What's your take?
Yeah, so thank you very much for receiving me, and good afternoon to the listeners. From a delegation perspective, which was led by Minister Godongwana, the delegation used Davos to clearly demonstrate that South Africa is moving from reform commitments to reform delivery. We were able to confidently present our progress on structural reforms, particularly on energy, logistics, and infrastructure. And under the Operation Vulindlela, we've seen some successes in that regard. Importantly, South Africa also got an opportunity to highlight key credible milestones, including improvements in terms of our financial governance standing, the strengthened macroeconomic stability, and our message to investors was quite clear. South Africa is reforming, stabilizing, and open for business. The announcement that South Africa also will be hosting the Spring World Economic Forum Summit next year is a strong endorsement of our leadership and our role globally. So from a partnership perspective, investment perspective, one of the most tangibles also was the strategic MOU, which was signed between Transnet and the Port of Antwerp. This agreement focused on modernization of South Africa's ports through skills transfer, digitization, and other means to support our logistics sector. The private sector was also equally quite successful, quite visible in the support for critical sectors that support, of course, South Africa's transition, energy transition, minerals, critical minerals, digital innovation, and regional trade under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. So these are some of the key successes that we were able to demonstrate from Davos. Currently compiling a full comprehensive report in respect of our participation in Davos. But I can tell you this now, it was definitely not a wasted opportunity. We used the platform to ensure that we position South Africa credibly in such an important platform.
As you compile your report to really just give us a breakdown of some of the highlights of the event, what kind of response did you get?
The response was very positive to South Africa, let me tell you. From the word go, we had our own station called South Africa House, which was the central coordination point for all the South African delegates, including any visitors that wanted to come. Let me tell you, we were busy from day one with a number of meetings, a number of engagements. No one walked past South Africa House without coming inside and engaging with us. On the political side, we were well received also by a number of countries. We had quite a few ministers come and visit South Africa House. At the platform itself within WEF, a number of strategic engagements, as you would have seen, that have taken place with a number of our ministers who were part of the delegation. So overall, we were well received in Davos, and really everyone was excited to have South Africa there.
And of course, we know that this all is a meeting that happened at a time where, one of the most complex geopolitical periods in history. How should South Africa be navigating the global uncertainty? I mean, you speak about good response, but of course, it all boils down to the finer details on paper, which should see some sort of impact on South Africa's economy.
Yeah, so South Africa focused on the key narratives, specifically where we've seen the transition between what was promised last year to the delivery this year. In terms of our structural economic transformation, tourism sector, and critical sectors that I've mentioned earlier, such as critical minerals, as well as our trade within the African continent. All those are opportunities that were presented at Davos. Over and above that, of course, on the energy side, the Minister of Electricity was quite clear and had a number of side meetings and cooperations with a number of international players, specifically focusing on not only on the generations, on the distribution side, but also on the generation of electricity, looking at green hydrogen opportunities. We had a Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition who held discussions with global manufacturers, not only in Davos, he also went to Zurich, engaged with a number of potential investors that are looking at South Africa as a destination to invest in. So all I can say to you is that from the delegation perspective, we were well received, and a number of engagements have continued. And all these will lead now to the South Africa Investment Conference, which will be coming up in March. A number of companies that that had engaged with us at Davos have committed to actually participate at the South Africa Investment Conference, and some of them really keen to explore further. Those that have already invested, they want to expand their investments within South Africa.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us this afternoon. Neville Matjie, who's the Chief Executive Officer at Brand South Africa, talking there about how Brand South Africa was represented at the World Economic Forum in Davos.